Bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum ba-ba-dum da 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 bum ba-dum bum ba-dum ba-da-bum ba-da-da da 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 dun da dun dun bum ba-da-dum ba-da-dun dun 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 ba-dun da-da-dum ba-da-dun dun 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 dun. Hello, my friends. Hello from, I see everyone's, this is wonderful, Oklahoma and Las Vegas. I'm a newbie, says Bev. Francine from Newberry, Ohio. And hi, Leanne. Hi, Ellen. Wonderful to see you all from Gainesville. And good evening from Independence, Missouri, and Mendham, New Jersey, and New Hampshire. And hi, everyone. It's so great to see you. Hi, Bob and Deb from Kentucky. It's great to see you all. Good evening. It is Monday night, and it's 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we do one thing and one thing only every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, now Standard Time. My name is Joette Calabrese, and we do it every Monday, and that is we talk about homeopathy. And I teach you what I know, and then other people hop in, and they give their little 2 cents as well, which I very much appreciate. I totally enjoy that. It's cold. I'm up north now, and it is chilly. Yes, it is hot chocolate time. Somebody just said that. Yes, hot chocolate weather here in Pennsylvania. It's cold. It's cold. Hi from chilly Toronto, says Alice. Yeah, I'm in Fort Erie, and it is cold. Hey, where's Harry? Asks Leanne. No kidding. Where is Harry? Haven't seen him. I don't see Harry yet. Come on in. So these are my mighties and my Facebook people and my YouTube people, and we've got you covered, friends. So if people don't like to go on Facebook, they can always watch this on YouTube, and you can see it tomorrow and next week and the week after that, and I hope it helps you. And so Fort Worth, Providence, Rhode Island, Central Texas, Sharon Springs, New York. Sharon Springs, New York. I don't know that area, Deb, and I'm from New York. Ever since the time change, I have been falling asleep before 8 p.m., so I missed a couple of weeks, says Alice. Nice to see you all. Oh, hi, Yana says from Singapore. Nice to see you. Hi from Akron, New York. I'm all the way. It's 1 a.m. here in the UK, says Athena. How nice to have you with us. It's great. From Virginia, North Carolina, Ontario, Connecticut, Ohio, San Francisco, Albany, Baltimore. I'm sorry, I love to see where everybody's from. Wichita Falls. It's so good. A balmy 33 in Maine. People are still wearing shorts. Yeah, you guys are funny. Belgium. Nice to see you from Belgium. It's great. Love it. Montana, Watertown, New York, Michigan. Hello, my friends. Let's talk about colds, okay, shall we? Colds and flus. In some state that there's a difference between a cold and flu in terms of what's going on in the body, in terms of microorganisms. And I say, I don't know how you'd really know without being tested all the time. And I'm not even sure it is worth the test. Because my take on it is if you're really sick, bone breaking, aching, sick, does it matter what microorganism may or may not be in play, right? So instead, the best part about homeopathy is we go right to the symptoms. We've got the name of the condition. It's a cold or a flu, but we're also going to go right to the symptoms. But I've got a bunch of them here I want you to look at, and I've got my trusty repertory, and this is Robin Murphy's repertory, and I'm going to go directly to the section called clinical. And in the clinical section, for those of you who happen to have this 4th edition, I'm on page 2161, and it is under colds. And colds, tendency to take colds. Look, most people are not too concerned if it's an occasional cold, right? It's the tendency to take colds that is more bothersome for many. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Tendency to take colds, what this rubric looks like, because there are a lot of medicines here. And you see, let's see if I can get my finger here, right there. See all those medicines? Lots of medicines right there. And then it goes to this next section here at the top. Now, I don't expect you necessarily to read that, but as you can see, a repertory, my friends, is not a book of sentences or theory. It's a book of a complete compendium of all of the conditions suffered by humanity as well as the animal kingdom, and the medicines that have been proven. Should I say that again? The medicines that have been proven to act in those conditions or with those conditions. Proven through provings, double-blind studies. Some of them, others, my blouse is crooked. Others are remedies that have been included in here that have been found to be used in clinical practice, so it's both. We also have a lot of information on poisonings in here. Now, the first one I want to start with is the easiest one. This is the easiest remedy to think of, to remember, when you're thinking of a cold. And I'm not being paid for this. I just think this is a great medicine. I happen to like this company. It's called Cold Calm. Super easy. You know this already. For those of you who've been following me, you already know that I like this product. I think it's excellent. It's a combination medicine for sneezing, runny nose, nasal congestion, mind or sore throat. Cold Calm, cold relief. Yeah, I think it's one of the best. Why? Because it's inexpensive and it works. I get people telling me all the time, it works. And I know I've used it myself, and I do find that it personally works. Let me also back up and say something about colds and flus. And that is that people think they're the easiest condition to treat. And my friends, I find colds and colds to be the most difficult for people to get their heads wrapped around. And even if they do, sometimes it's elusive because it might present this way with yellow mucus for one person in the family, and the other might present with lots of sneezing. In another person, it might show up as terrible pain, while the other one has a sore throat. And with that sore throat, some people might have a sore throat with ulcers on it, or they might have a sore throat of one ulcer, or they might have a sore throat with excessive saliva and halitosis. That's why it's a little more complicated than it is to treat other conditions. And thank you, Dolly. Thank you very much, because the symptoms keep changing, and they do often keep changing. Now, I like Cold Calm because it includes apis and allium cepa and belladonna, eupatorium, gelsemium, nux vomica, phytolacca, and pulsatilla. And those are some of the top medicines that, if I look again in my repertory, that I will find are used for a cold. So I like this medicine. And you simply follow the directions. It tells you how often to take it, and so you do. Super easy. I love simple. I don't want to make homeopathy complex. I don't want to turn people off about homeopathy. I want to turn them on to homeopathy. I want them to teach their children, and I want them to teach their grandchildren and their neighbors and their friends, etc. Okay. Next medicine is the same company. I'm sorry I have to do this. I just think this is a great company. Now, I'm going to tell you there are other pharmacies that get out there and get their products out there, but not the way Boron does. Boron. And that's oscillococcinum. Now, I'm going to tell you this is a great combination, especially for the flu or coming on to the flu. Body aches, headache, fever, chills, fatigue. Body aches is usually what distinguishes, my friends, the flu from a cold. That and fever, when it feels like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've been hit by a Zamboni. Then we know that it's more likely going to be a flu. But it doesn't really matter that much, does it? Other than maybe choosing this medicine over others. But many people swear by this oscillococcinum for even just colds. Now, personally, for me, this one has not worked for me so well. I don't know why. This does. I can't say why. Sometimes these things work for some people and not for others. But others swear by this, including other members of my family. They love it. So I'm giving you the two easiest ones because you don't really have to think about it. It's all done for you. And that's why I like some combination medicines. Not all. There are some companies that I think overdo it with the number of remedies that they include. But I have to tell you, I think it makes it so easy when you can find a pharmacy that manufactures the top medicines. You're not going to take it for a long time. Most people, when I was growing up, my friends, we would be sick with a cold or a flu, and we would be out of school for 2 weeks. It's the way it was. We just did. Anybody who was sick, if they were out with a cold or a flu, we knew they'd be gone for 2 weeks. Now everyone wants to be, well, now, right now. That's not always the way it works. Someone just said something interesting. Use these as stocking stuffers, the best. Homeopathic medicines are one of the best stocking stuffers around. Others are saying, I swear by that medicine. I don't know if it's for the cold. Calm is the bomb. Says someone who's saying that, says Tony. The Oscillo works better for flu-like symptoms, I think. Yes, I believe so. I totally agree with that. I think it does. I swear by it, says others. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Thank you very much, Nathalie. I think she's saying that. Do please like, comment, and share. It's what gets the word out about homeopathy. We really like the Highlands Cold Med as well, says Kim. You have to start it immediately. Linda's got a good point. You don't necessarily have to, but it often works better. So thank you for mentioning that. I think that is, oh, here's another one. Corazalia is another one. Hello from windy California. People are still saying hello here. Okay. Yeah, me too. Out for 2 weeks, says Anne. All right, those are the two top ones that I want to talk about. Then there's another medicine that I'm finding extremely useful, especially lately. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Sometimes we see certain medicines for things that seem to go around communities, etc., or at certain times of the year, work better. Some medicines work better in this group or in this part of the world or at this time of year, etc. And I find that this particular medicine has been really great. It is Nux vomica. You all know it. For those of you who know anything about homeopathy, Nux vomica. And the difference between Nux vomica and other medicines for a cold or flu, is that these are people who are sedentary. A lot different than a child who's running around outside, right? These are people who are sedentary. It's more often an adult, but not always. They are people who are in the head. They're online, they're working. They're accountants, they're attorneys. They are using their brain all day and not their body. Their body is sedentary. And when they get sick, they often get sick because they've been exposed to cold air. And how do we know this? Well, not only do I know it clinically in my experience, but I'm also going to show you this section of the repertory so that you know, if you have a repertory, how you should be looking at this. Now we're right here. I hope you can see that. I can't see my own fingers. So in this area, it tells us, takes cold easily, or ailments from windy cold air, and ailments from damp air, or damp cold air. And then it gives us the names of all the medicines that stand out. And Nux vomica is one in which colds, chilled, easily gets chilled, and cold air aggravates, and Nux vomica is in there. There are other medicines too, but I'm going to talk about Nux right now only. Nux vomica can also be for someone who has a gut issue, either constipation, or they've had too much to eat, or they've been eating the wrong foods. My husband and I were out of town this past week at a conference, and you're at the mercy of the food that's being offered. I don't eat the kind of foods that were offered. They were tasty, and it was very beautifully displayed, but I generally don't eat that way. I don't eat lots of starches. I don't eat breads, etc. And I did, because there it was. And so Diane says, I heard you teach that the boron flu medicine can be taken as a prophylactic. Can it be taken as an entire tube one time a day, once a week, or for a month? Some people do it that way. I have done it that way, but to be honest, I don't like to use too many medicines without them being absolutes. If someone is extremely prone to catching a flu or a cold, and if it would be maybe dangerous if they were to do so, then I might use it prophylactically. But I prefer to use these medicines because they are upon us. They're with us. So let me just tell you, when I went to India, those 8 years, 1 year after another, after another, after another, 8 times, and I worked with the Banerjees in the Prasanta Banerjee Homeopathic Research Foundation. The reason I bring this up is because going to India as an American can be a very trying thing, because we're not accustomed to the microorganisms that are prevalent in that part of the world. I don't come from a tropical country, and I've not been exposed to those kinds of conditions and perhaps microorganisms. So, and I was working in a setting where the crowds were thick, so thick that my dear friend, who is a medical doctor, a homeopathic medical doctor, would hold my hand. Vivekta, if you are there, I'm thinking of you. She would hold my hand and pull me through the throngs of people in the waiting room. It was so thick with people that I could not stay with her unless she pulled me through. So we were rubbing up against sick people. Everyone there was sick. So, should I have taken a prophylactic before I went to the clinic? Which prophylactic? Which disease would I have been concerned about? How many of them should I have taken? I would have been popping homeopathic medicines all day long if I thought about taking a prophylactic before I got there. I waited until I got sick, and I always did, my friends. I got quite sick. Each time I waited until I got sick, saw what the symptoms were, and treated accordingly. And it was quick. I made quick work of it. All righty. Nux vomica. It's also great medicine when someone is exposed, as I said, exposed to cold air, and for someone who gets repeated colds. They're in kind of a cycle of getting them over and over again. Okay, let's go to the next medicine. I'm looking over here because I've got another screen here, and we're going to take a look at the next one. This is one that I don't talk about, I haven't talked about, because to be honest, it's rather new to me. And this was brought to my attention by our dear Leanne, Quebracho. And I'm going to tell you that I've had good luck with it. I don't know if it's all the time it would work in this fashion, but it certainly is working at this time of the year, my friends. It is spelled Quebracho, Quebracho. Now, it comes from Brazil. It's a plant. It's a bark that's harvested in Brazil. And because Brazil's, the language in Brazil is Portuguese, it could be Quebracho. So I don't think they're going to pronounce the Q-U-E. It could be Quebracho. But because we're American, we're going to give it a try at Quebracho. And it is said, I'm going to quote, it says Dr. Edwin Hale, who was a pretty well-known homeopath in Cleveland, I believe, Cleveland, Ohio, back in the turn of the last century and up until maybe the 1920s or 30s, something like that. His name was Dr. Edwin Hale, and he called it the digitalis of the lungs. Now, we know digitalis, homeopathic digitalis, is very useful for the cardiac system, the heart. So for it to be called the digitalis of the lungs is a really useful way to remember this. Now, what I love about this is Dr. William Boricki says it removes temporary obstruction to the oxidation of the blood by stimulating respiratory centers, increasing oxidation and excretion of carbonic acid. Is that important for us to know? It's an interesting aside, but it's not that important. But it is important when we look at it for pulmonary stenosis, for thrombosis of pulmonary artery, and an effective remedy in many cases of, and this is where we're going, asthma. So colds that turn into asthma. Or asthma that has nothing to do with a cold. But if we're talking about colds and flus and someone moves into asthma, I think this is a really capital medicine to consider. It stimulates the respiratory centers and increases the oxygen in the blood. Want of breath is another way of putting it. During exertion is the guiding symptom. So we often hear about exercise-induced asthma, whether it's as a result of a cold or not. Quebracho, my friends. Now, that's not the only medicine. We've got many others. But I thought I'd introduce you to a medicine that's fairly new to me, too. I knew about it. I've seen it in the Materia Medica. I don't see it in the repertory. I have yet to see it show up in the repertory. I've not looked for it, but I do study it in Materia Medicas. And not all Materia Medicas carry it because it is a lesser-known medicine in general. I wouldn't call it truly lesser-known, but it is somewhat not as well-known as others. And it's especially valuable for cardiac asthma. But we can also use it for a cold, particularly when a cold goes to the lungs and then ripens into asthma. Quebracho. I would use it in a 30. So it's something to own. And why should we own it? Because we should own these medicines, my friends. We don't know what's ahead of us. We want to own these medicines. Own your medicines. Own your knowledge. And now I'm going to add another ownership. Own your circle of friends and the people that you associate with. Make sure that the people that you spend your most time with are those people who will work with you, not against you, when you're trying to work with building someone's health, your health or someone else's. We don't want someone coming in and saying, oh, homeopathy does, really, just, honey, let's just change the subject. And then we don't really spend an awful lot of time with people who are naysayers. We choose well. Choose who you follow well. Choose who you associate with well. Alice says, last week I gave it to my boss, and within half an hour she felt better enough to go to work, outdoors landscaping. She had been on the verge of canceling and staying home. I think Alice might be talking about cold calm. I think. We shall see. All right. Boron carries Quebracho, I know, in a 30. Yes, they do. And you can also get it in a mother tincture. And as Leanne says, you can get it in a mother tincture from SBL. It's a homeopathic pharmacy out of India. Mucus, it's good for that too, you bet. Some pulmonary issues are blood issues. I know, Leanne, I know you've been talking about that for a while. Yay, Leanne, met you at the party, says Michelle. For those of you who don't know, we just had a fabulous party in Florida where my students from the academy all got together. We all spent a wonderful weekend together. Well, mostly one day, but it was a long, good day. It was a good one. Thanks, Joette. I have some immune system deficiencies and have been sick often the last 2 years. Would love to not get the flu again this year. Now let's go to the next medicine. Glad to be of service, Diane. The next one is Aconitum. Aconitum, Aconitum. Second word is Nepalese, but all you need to know is Aconitum. Yeah, Natalie says the party was so fun. It was great. Party. I have talked about, before I go to Aconitum, I've talked about what to do for lingering cold. It's on my blog, but I will bring it up here. Lingering cold. By lingering, now remember, I talked about 2 weeks. 2 weeks is not too long for a cold. It's not lingering. We want it to be faster than that, obviously, with homeopathy, but if you weren't treating it with homeopathy, 2 weeks is not horrible. It's if you choose the right homeopathic medicine and you learn which ones work so well for you, you'll probably be able to resolve enough of it so that within the day or 2 or 3, you're kind of back on your feet and you're moving along nicely. Sulfur 30 is the medicine I like to use for a cold or that has been lingering beyond 2 weeks. Sulfur 30. I love to use it in a 200. Excuse me, a 30. Not a 200, a 30. Just for a few days. And in all of these medicines, remember, for those who are new, these are not supplements. These are not vitamins. We don't take them forever. We take them until we're better. Then we stop. When we see improvement, we stop. If we need to go back to it again to repeat it, then we go and resume the schedule again. And we normally use these medicines, you read the directions for cold common oscillococcinum, but others can be used sometimes every 15 minutes for the first hour, and then after that every few hours. That's one way to do it. There are many different ways to use it, but I like to use the symptoms to determine when it needs to be re-administered. My mama used to say that she would have a cold for 14 days with medicines or 2 weeks without conventional meds. You got it. That's absolutely so. Yep. So aconitum. Aconitum is one of those medicines, and it's a tie, in my estimation, between aconitum and nux vomica for quick onset. If you're feeling just fine, you're driving along, and all of a sudden, bam, you feel really sick really fast. It's usually aconitum. Unless you're driving your car and you're an accountant and you can't get there fast enough and your irritable is all heck and you've got a lot to get done in the day and you didn't get enough sleep the night before and you ate pizza, junky pizza, not homemade, sourdough, good pizza, and you've been overdoing it. Now we're talking about the possibility that could be nux vomica. And so what do? Don't wait till you get to the office or wait to get to home or wherever you're going. You're going to rummage around and get it right out of your purse. Why? Because if you know that this is a medicine that works well for you, you need to own it. You need to have it with you. Not all medicines, just those medicines that you have found has been most useful in your life. If you are a person who uses nux vomica time and again, keep it in your purse. If you're a person who gets a quick onset illness where it comes on really hard and fast and you feel awful, make sure you own that aconitum in your purse. Parenthetically, let me also tell you, I don't keep very many remedies in my purse. I keep aconitum in my purse. Because if I or my husband or if I'm with my children or my brother or someone gets into an accident or has a heart event or something very extreme, comes on with a hard, fast cold, and it comes on like that, it's going to be aconitum. It's going to make all the difference in the world to be able to take it immediately. So I keep aconitum in my purse at all times. Mindy says, amen to aconitum. My 2 boys both started showing the same symptoms I had with a cold. I gave them aconitum and bryonia, and they got over the cold in hours. It was awesome. Yes. Yeah. Mindy says, Pam, I've been inundated with people having a month-long cold. Yeah, these month-long colds, they can really drag on, and I do find that sulfur 30 can often help twice daily. Let's see what else we've got here. Last week I gave, she said to her boss. We got that already. Let's get some more questions in here from, okay. That's what I give my kids, says Tracy. Looking for a good 200 kit for each of my kids' families, if anyone has any suggestions. The 200 kits that I believe are available these days are most likely going to be from Helios. I love the combo meds, says Leah. My family will usually always be willing to start with them. I love the Helios kit, says Kelly. Helios in Great Britain. Tina says, yes, Helios has kits. Check them out. I also like Boron's kit. It's not a 200 kit. It's a 30th potency. That's a nice kit, too. I love how my kids can diagnose their own symptoms and ask for the appropriate remedy. Now, nux vomica comes up a lot, says Kim. You go, Kim. It's wonderful. Teach your kids well. My friends, is it important that your kids learn the kinds of goofy things that are taught in schools these days? Or is it important that they learn how to take care of themselves with homeopathy, good nutrition, and understand the importance of being self-reliant? That's what's missing, my friends. People need to remember, we used to be self-reliant. We used to educate our children. We used to make our own meals at home. We used to birth our babies at home. Moms used to go in the garden and pick the herbs to be able to treat their families. And moms who were educated, who made a point of educating themselves, would treat their families with homeopathy for the last, how long? 220 years. This is not magpie medicine where every new shiny object is taken into account. No, no. This medicine has provenance. And so I leave you with that thought, my friends. God bless you all. For those who are in the U.S., have a most glorious Thanksgiving ever. See you next week. Bye now.
With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athusa, no dairy, it's elementary with arnica head, arsenica fed, spigelia slither, orm sperm wither, no more infirm. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Bella so red and arnica head, drosera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calica bonicum, let it melt on your gum, bovies to eat are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. My family needs me, so I must know our remedies. How much to take, how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With our homeopathic protocols, you learn your remedies. Athusa, no dairy, it's elementary with arnica head, arsenica fed, spigelia slither, orm sperm wither, no more infirm. My family needs me, so I improve my memory. Not only the rems, but how often to treat, and when to stop, and when to repeat. With your homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies. Bella so red and arnica head, drosera bark, ignatia dark, source of frigid and cuprum to rigid, and crude itches, calica bonicum, let it melt on your gum, bovies to eat are some great ways to treat ya. La 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 la, homeopathic protocols, learn your remedies.